Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in EDH. Today we're looking at Shanid Sleeper Scourge. It's Shanid, right? Not Shanid? Shanid? Let's go with Shanid. Shanid Sleeper Scourge is a 4-mana Mardu commander. He's a human knight, a 2/4 menace. Other legendary creatures have menace. And whenever you play a legendary land or cast a legendary spell, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So obviously, the main thing here is going to be to figure out how to jam as many legendary creatures, spells of other kinds, and lands into the deck as possible. And considering we're in Mardu colors, that probably means we're going a beatdown route with this commander. So right off the bat, let's talk about the lands. So the lands, obviously, we have the issue of we're a 3-color deck, and we therefore need to be able to fix for all of our colors, but we also need to play legendary lands, which for the most part are either monocolor or colorless. In this case, I've opted to make some space in the land base for some of these monocolor legendary lands, like Hammerheim, Aganjos, Mount Doom, Gemstone Caverns, which we were playing anyway. That's pretty nice. Flagstones of Shrokare, Sokenzan, Shizo, Shinka, Takanuma, the Black Gate, Tomb of Arami, Urborg. Now, there were many more legendary lands that we could have played that produced colorless, but ultimately I decided we couldn't mess up the mono base too much, and having so many monocolor lands is already potentially going to cause color problems, so none of the colorless ones made it, obviously, other than Gemstone Caverns. Having played the deck a little bit, sometimes this causes problems. It mostly doesn't. Your Fetch Shock dual mono base can mostly make up for these, but it's not always the case. So hypothetically, you could shave down some of these legendary lands in order to get to a point where you've got better fixing if that becomes a problem. Now, moving on from there, the next step was just, again, find all the legendary stuff. So Adeline, Anna McCall, Arabella, Arbozmir, Bayek of Siwa, which gives double strike to our historic creatures, Excalibur, since we're playing a whole bunch of legends already, along with Embercleave, Campbell, Odric, and Sheoldred. Bunch of legends that all beat down our opponents in various ways, draining life, pinging them, being huge, generating tokens, etc. Then in our card draw camp, we've got like Gix and Timna and Rev, Infamous Cruel Claw, Delny, which doubles up the triggers on a whole bunch of cards in our deck, including, importantly, Shanid, so that we draw 2 cards per trigger. We've got Kroxa for more card draw. How would you like that? 2 mana, all of your opponents discard and you draw a card. Tiny Bones, 1 mana to do the same thing. Shadow Spear happens to be a legendary artifact. Didn't know that was the case. And Karlach to get an extra combat step. Also, as you can see here, we're running 36 lands. That's because we can't run as much ramp as usual, and we're going to be playing a bunch of stacks in our Mardu deck in order to facilitate this aggro beatdown plan. So we've got some protection, which is helped out by the legendary Boromir and Skrelv in order to keep our guys alive. We've got our ramp. Mox Amber and Mox Opal are both legendary, as is Ragavan, the Iron Crag, and some things that give us treasures like Grim Hireling, Professional Facebreaker. Rev happens to be legendary, as does the Reaver Cleaver, and Lotho. Then we've got some removal. Unfortunately, the only one we have that's legendary is Loran. And then here comes the stacks plan. So our plan is mostly built around just attacking our opponents to death. Therefore, we have to be able to mitigate our opponent's abilities to storm off, do combo loops, generate a bunch of card draw, cast multiple spells a turn. And for that case, we're going to play Rule of Law effect, anti-freeze spells, anti-creatures being killed, and this happens to be legendary, taxing effects with Thalia, Elesh Norn to shut off opposing ETB triggers, and so on. We got some tutors, including Oswald, and Oswald isn't completely irrelevant here. He does go and grab relevant artifacts, so things like Winter Orb, Stone of Eric and Trinisphere, along with some of our beatdown stuff like the Reaver Cleaver. And then Rograk, just because, hey, it's a 0-mana legend, why not? Basically becomes a free spell, and it's a creature that we can equip onto, and so forth. So with all that said, that is going to do it for Shanid Sleeper's Scourge in EDH.